All right, chapter 1. And I'm going to run through this. I want you to realize that this book that you're getting ready to learn is nothing more than an outline of every diagnosis known to man and every procedure known to man. Now, there are over 10,000 codes in this one book. When we go to ICD-10, ICD-10, there's going to be about 150,000 codes. It's going to be major. But anyway, over 10,000 codes, and that is to represent every single reason for a healthcare encounter, anything from getting my ears pierced and my tummy tucked to having a cardiac bypass, all the way to having, major life-threatening things and being on mechanical ventilators and things like that. So it can be from anywhere from the common cold right on to the most serious diagnosis, anything from the least serious procedure you can think of right on to the most major procedure. It has to have a code. Now the name of the book, it's critical. You're going to hear it referred to as ICD. You're going to hear it referred to as ICD-9. The only correct name is ICD-9-CM, and there is a reason for that. It is the International Classification of Diseases, 9th revision. Yes, this is the 9th time this book has been revised. The clinical modification. Now the reason that I'm being specific about the name is that there is another document called the ICD-9, not CM, but ICD-9. That is truly the international version. That is the version that every country in the world that keeps data has used to be able to handle morbidity and mortality data. All right. What is morbidity data? What does morbidity mean? Not more than one, but it just means diseases. So if something is morbid, it's meaning disease or causes disease. All right, what is mortality then? Death. So ICD-9 is the official method that we have used to calculate mortality data through the world. Now, what did I just say? ICD-9, that international version, not this one, that international version, is the official way that we calculate mortality data for the world. That means that prior to ICD-10 coming out, all the countries in the world that kept statistics all coded it according to ICD-9 when they were doing their death statistics. Right now, all I'm talking about is death. I'm not talking about morbidity, I'm talking about mortality. And I want you to understand why. When someone in the United States dies, a death certificate has got to be prepared and signed by the attending MD. That death certificate is then sent to the local county health department, who then sends it to the state bureau, who then sends it to the National Center for Health Statistics. That happens to be in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, by the way. So all the data from all the states in our country about death and the death certificates comes to the Research Triangle Park, where to the National Center of Health Statistics, they gather the data, and from that they calculate how many people we had that died in a certain year of a certain diagnosis. So that's where all that comes from. And it originates in the death certificate and finishes up with the National Center of Health Statistics. Well, then the National Center of Health Statistics feeds that information into the World Health Organization. And the World Health Organization is in Geneva, Switzerland. And they take all the data from all the countries, and then they can tell you what the leading cause of death is in the world, meaning of those countries that keep statistics. So that broad international version is a really important document, isn't it? And you know what? You will probably never see one. I have never seen but one in my life, and it was an old one, because the only people in the United States that use the true international version are the nosologists in Raleigh. The nosologist, N-O-S-O-L-O-G-I-S-T, nosologist, that's a fancy name for coder. All right? They are in Raleigh and every other state capital. And they are the people that take the death certificates and turn around and code them according to ICD-9, that international version. All right, you totally confused right now?
So they take the information that they give
From the death certificates.
From the death certificate, and they basically code it with ICD-9.
Exactly.
Right.
All right. Now, in the hospital and healthcare settings, ICD-9 doesn't meet our needs because it is not specific enough. So when the United States got handed ICD-9 30-some years ago, they said, oh, this is really good, but this is not adequate. We've got to add some stuff to it. So they added stuff to it and came up with the International Classification of Diseases Clinical Modification, the CM part. All right, so what you've got then is the international version is known as ICD-9. The version for the United States is known as ICD-9-CM. So you see why I'm a stickler about what you call it? Because whether you put that CM on the end of it tells me what book you're talking about. Now, I'll guarantee you walk into any hospital or any doctor's office and they're going to talk about ICD or ICD-9. They're going to be referring to ICD-9-CM, but they're not technically correct. I'm nitpicking now, but you've got to know the difference in the two. All right, so ICD-9-CM, is it used in the United States, in all countries, or only those countries that belong to the World Health Organization? That's a question to you. In the United States. In the United States, do hospitals use ICD-9? No. In the United States, do hospitals use ICD-9-CM?
Yes.
Yes, they use that. So, it's a fine line between the two, but you need to know the difference. The official mortality statistics collecting device in the United States is, now notice I said mortality. Mortality means death. Death certificates, is that ICD-9 or ICD-9-CM? ICD-9. That was the book I told you that you'll probably never lay your eyes on. I haven't but one time. There's no need to, but you do need to know the difference between the two. All right, so we will be dealing with ICD-9-CM. We are not dealing with ICD-9, but you have to know what that is so that you can compare international statistics